All right, let's say here. I went to the New York Comic Con The Strangers panel. I can tell you about it. Well, you know what? Stay on the line, my friend, because let's talk about that Strangers panel. So we had The Strangers, which you guys know I'm very much looking forward to. They were just at New York Comic Con because that's what's happening right now. And they revealed one of the first posters. So we got two of them, and this is the first one. And it actually also made me notice a change in the design of The Strangers. So here we have the first poster for The Strangers, Chapter 1. Reminder, it's going to be a full trilogy. They've shot all three films. They're complete, and they will all be releasing next year in theaters. Still no idea on the release plan. I thought they would let us know at New York Comic Con, but they didn't. So here we have the three strangers. I love this black and white poster. The masks are exactly the same as the previous two films. That's cool. We have the cabin off here, off to the side, to the right, upside down. Because again, the movie is going to be, the first movie is going to be about a couple that goes to an Airbnb and the strangers show up and wreak havoc on their life. Now, if we pull up what the strangers used to look like, we can see some big differences in their costume. And I don't know how to feel about it. Some of it I'm like, okay. Some of it I'm like, no gracias. I don't know why I wrote Rotten Tomatoes there. The Strangers movie. Okay. So here, let's just pull up this costume. And then let me bring up the first look photo. The Strangers first look of the new movie. Oh, look, some of my TikToks popped up. Cool. Okay, so here we have what they're going to look like in the new movie, right? And so at first glance, you might not think there's a big difference. But if you notice, so the main stranger guy, he usually has a suit and tie, which I always thought was creepy. Like, this movie is so unsettling, the first one. The second one is just more fun, cheesy slasher camp. But the first one is unsettling, it's creepy, and I think something so weird about this outfit is, like, it's a guy in a suit and tie. He looks like he's a dad, or he just got off work, or something. He's a professional. So he's having a suit and a tie, and he's got this mask, and he's doing this deranged stuff to this couple. In the new look, it's just a guy with a jacket. Like, that feels less deranged to me. That feels more in line with a creepo wanting to kill somebody. Just a random dirty brown jacket with the mask. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And then I also realized, oh my goodness, the blonde girl who's like iconic for that doll face mask and has the blonde hair, they got rid of the blonde hair. The blonde hair is no more, my friends. I thought this was actually the other girl. This right here next to him is the blonde hair girl, but with no blonde hair. And if we look at the first look poster, it's supposed to be her on the left. So the girl on the left is the doll face one that we have from the original movie. The doll face, blonde hair. Take a good look at it. And then, no, for this movie, they're not going to let the blonde hair drip. It's going to be inside a beanie, kind of concealed, and it'll just be the mask. And I feel like that gives it kind of a downgrade. This was such an iconic look in a way, so creepy. Just her hair just flowing in the wind, killing, and it looked crazy when it moved. That's like, I don't know, it's not that creepy, just a beanie. But I feel like there is going to be a story purpose for that, and it's not just because, oh, we wanted to be different. We didn't want to have the blonde hair. There was details about this movie released. So let me pull those up. The Strangers first look. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. There was details when this first came out that let's see if I can pull it up here. The Strangers. Okay, 1 week ago. Here we go. So when this photo came out, details were said that the first movie, Chapter 1, is going to be very similar to the original 2008 movie. So the first movie is going to be exactly like the original, where it's just a couple being stalked by the strangers, bad stuff happens, and assuming the main girl survives, right? That's Madeline Pesh here with the boyfriend. I'm thinking the boyfriend dies in the first one. He's got to. Madeline Pesh is still going to be part of the other two movies. But then the other two movies, they said here, will explore what happens to the victims of this kind of violence and who the perpetrators of this kind of violence were and where are they coming from and why. So with them concealing the blonde hair and not letting the blonde hair flow out anymore, I'm thinking maybe this Strangers movie is going to go more for a whodunit kind of element where maybe she knows who the strangers are, and it might be somebody in her life. And so these people concealing their hair color, covering up as much as their body as possible, it might be kind of like a Scream or type twist reveal where it's like, you were the stranger? But you're not a stranger to me. I know you. Oh my God, that's why they call it the stranger. Something crazy like that, right? That's the only reason I could think of why they would get rid of the blonde hair. I know forensics wise, it probably makes more sense not to have your hair flowing in a murder scene because they can pick your DNA and whatnot, or you can choose them in a lineup. But you could have always said it was a wig instead of her real hair. I just think it's interesting they did that, right? So we had that poster come out, and then we had a second poster that is more kind of like a poster for the entire trilogy. So that last poster I showed you is more for chapter 1. This one is kind of for all 3 movies, and this is a cool poster. It says it all started with a knock, and it just has like claw marks of a door, and it has all 3 of them there looking good. The Strangers Trilogy come in 2024. Yeah, this looks awesome. I think this looks great. I think this looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait to check it out. I'm just curious how they're going to play into the whole uncovering the mystery about the strangers, who they are, whether that, covering up the blonde hair had anything to do with it. I just hope it's good. But right as I was finished talking about it, they actually released our first clip of the Strangers Trilogy, and it's not really a trailer. It really is just a clip, 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, and it really just showcases what to expect. I kind of don't know if this was like the best thing to reveal because you can watch it and it's very slow going, and I know the first film is very slow because it builds up that tension of the strangers coming in. I thought they just could have maybe shown like a teaser trailer at least. Didn't have to be footage from all 3 movies, just of the first film, but it's the basic setup with the strangers. Madeline Petsch here at the door thinking it's her boyfriend. Then the knock just gets louder, and then the person asks, is Tamara here? And then she responds with, we already told you she's not here, you crazy lady. Get out of here. Don't be a stranger. So that was pretty much it. And then like at the very end of the clip, they show like somebody is already in the house. And kind of a weird edit too. Let me show you, see if it shows it off. Felt a little fake, didn't it? Felt like a green screen walk by there. But that's all they showed. 2 minutes, 20 seconds long. I feel like they could have cut this trailer footage down to like a minute and just had the clip released there. Now, along with that, they also further detailed about the about what's going to be going down in the actual thing, and I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel that big. Let me see if I can pull out. So here we have a whole bunch of details let out where they were like, I read it and I was just blown away by it. I called him like, this is incredible, but what? It's 280 pages long, he said. Yes, we want to make 3 movies. That's when I understood the whole scope of this and what the idea here we have to have a first movie that basically is fairly faithful to the remake of the original film, but seen now in today's world, 15, 16 years later. So I guess with more advanced cell phones, technology. So the first movie will be a remake of the original, just in a more modern setting. Then I think that myself, all of the fans of the original all these years were asking ourselves and our friends, like, why? Why did this have to happen? Who are all these senseless killers? Who are they? Why are they doing this? The original movie ends with them just driving away. And you were like, what? To be able to make 3 movies where we start exploring reasons, because even if the senseless acts of violence happen in our world, happen in America, they happen in America all the time. Unfortunately, there's got to be some reasoning behind it. So then she goes, so not to trivialize it or to spell it out too much, the second and third movies are an exploration. Where did this come from? Harlan continues. More than anything, they are exploration of what could happen to a person in this case. A young woman who is the victim of such senseless violence. What does that have to do to you mentally, physically, and what is your journey after that? It's an exploration of that more than anything. And I think that after that, we will answer a lot of the questions that the fans of the original have, and then go far beyond that. By the end of the third movie, there are more questions than answers, really. What do you mean by the end of the third movie, there are more questions than answers? I'm scared of this direction for them to, answer where the strangers came from and what's going on. I did see that, like, wherever the first movie ends, the second movie will pick up 5 minutes later. I don't mind that exploration of the trauma and, like, what a victim goes through, because that is a traumatizing thing. It's just, how do you bring the strangers back into it, and then kind of revealing where they come from and unraveling that mystery? That's where I'm like, they could mess it up really quick.